Hey there guys, so our new anime starts from today onwards and it's set in a world where a variety of beings reside, like dragon youths, elves, orcs, dwarfs, demons, dark elves, beastmen and humans. As such, our guy Light comes from a humble family and left the village to become an adventurer in a city so that his whole family could live comfortably. With that dream he did arrive in the city, but humans aren't exactly respected. Even so, he went to the guild and filled out the paperwork to register. Light had a gift of Unlimited Gacha pull with which he can bring out random things, but they are of the lowest of the low quality, so that makes him start with rank F. A bottom feeder that can only take minor or labor jobs around town. Light wasn't literate, so the girl helped him pick out a few jobs, and seeing it as the start of his new life, Light worked hard and yet got only pennies in return. And even that got snatched away by a bunch of goons who ran into him and took his money as ransom. But while he was down, an elf girl approached him and Light quickly pulled away from taking her hand because he was dirty. But the girl got on her knees in that dirt and hugged him to let him know she doesn't have prejudice against humans like others do. She introduced Light to her people. They are called the Concord of Tribes, that has all the races because they believe everyone was created by the goddess, so there shouldn't be any prejudice. Then one by one everyone introduced themselves to Light, and if Light accepts their invitation, their party will be complete. Their one true goal is to eliminate this discrimination from the world, and believing in them, Light agreed because they were the group who showed him kindness. They went to a dungeon like normal parties, but Light wasn't the kind of warrior who could pull his own weight, so everyone had to protect him. Sasha always got protective of him, and that made others tease her about her and Light's chemistry improving day by day. Sasha got shy and the Drago told her not to sweat it because Light was handy in his own way. He liked the tea Light made. Then they moved further into the dungeon, and when they saw a place good enough to take some rest, they all stopped. It was on a single pathway and Light was getting ready to make some tea. And that is when the lowlifes showed their true colors. Drago kicked out Light from his party, and for a moment he thought they were joking. But Garu and the others, especially Sasha, let out their true feelings of how disgusted they felt taking a weak human into their party. It made them throw up every time they had to see his face. But now finally they could wash their hands of this dirt. Light was unable to process all this, that the people he thought were so kind were only faking it. They took him in only because of his Unlimited Gacha gift. Apparently their superior got interested to see what type of gift it was and thought he was a maestro, but they were wrong. Light was far from it, and he was a worthless guy with a useless skill, which made them want to throw away their dead weight. Sasha honestly let out that she would have thrown up if she had to marry a human, even if he was a maestro. That just showed the level of discrimination and prejudice humans had to face in this world. And now that it was done, Drago told Garu to finish him off. Light saw they were all serious, so he tried to run away for his life. But watching him squabble for his life made Garu even more excited to take his time in killing him. Sasha shot an arrow through his leg, so now the poor guy couldn't even run. Their official story was that the weakling died in the dungeon by some monsters. Their Garu was certainly enjoying the job, but to make his death look natural they asked him to hurry up. Even then Light was clinging to hope of life, and watching him just made Garu even more happy. Light had only wanted to live and his wish worked. He activated a teleportation trap, and before they could get him he went away from them. Now the guy was in a random place, yet still not safe, because the moment a monster shows up he'd be dead. All he ever wished for was to have a good life with his family, so he asked why did this all happen to him? Those people who had shown him such kindness were just lying. They fooled him, as they were lowlifes from the inside, especially for the person who was behind them all, because he wanted to see his gift. It was all his game to kill Light. So that's how a new villain was born in the depth of that dungeon, who made up his mind to get revenge on all of them. But a monster showed up, so how would that happen? He was weak as fuck and now he couldn't even walk. He realized he was in the deepest part of the dungeon, and now the only thing Light had left was his worthless skill of gacha. So pinning his hope on that, he pulled up another spin because he wanted to live to meet his family again and get his revenge. And it seemed like luck shines upon him now. The one card he drew this time was an insanely powerful maid. She shattered the mutt and with a swing of her hand cleaned up the mess from the area. Gorgeous and a beauty, she approached Light and bowed in respect. She healed his injuries in seconds, as it pained her to watch her master in such a condition. Truly her powers were in nemesis. Then she asked Light his name, and hearing that brought her pure joy, like it meant everything for her. And with it she swore her loyalty to Light until the day she dies. But Light was confused, so the girl said her level is 9999 and her name is May, a super ultra pro max card he pulled from his gacha. That's why she was swearing her loyalty to the guy. Light couldn't believe that, but she asked Light to call out her name. Her puppy dog eyes melted him away. Then she asked for permission to use her appraisal eye on Light because he thought his skill was useless. She saw Light had a devilish power, but it was under heavy concealment so no one could see it, especially his gift of gacha because he could spin it unlimited times. And the best part was that until now only worthless things came out of it because Light needs to be around higher mana density areas for using gacha. So when he was dropped down to the depth of this abyss where mana density was higher, pulling super ultra rare cards got easier. Yet even so Light was still weak, but Mei was here. But the guy didn't want that. He was reminded of his party who just betrayed him, so he was scared. Because he was weak with a pathetic gift and just wanted to provide for his family, Mei couldn't watch him in pain and pulled him in for an embrace. She promised to bring him their heads on spikes, every last one of them, if he ordered her to right now this instant. But Light didn't want that. He wanted to get revenge with his own two hands, and for that he wished to become powerful. Mei was ready to help in any way she could, and so Light pulled up another spin in his gacha there.
3 years went by in this place, and Light had created a kingdom of his own in this abyss. Every maid were a fangirl of Light, and that just irritated Mei so much. But Light told not to mind them, and goes around his land on a survey. There were many stores and people living here, and everyone respects Light. He's the ruler here, and he takes care of them, like their safety and their necessities. After that survey, he asked about others, and Mei said Aoyuki is currently creating a map of the abyss and the surface. And she reported nothing unusual. And then comes the mage Lady Ellie, who's been developing new magic for Light's plan. And it was also in good flow. She's dumb, and she's doing the patrol duty of the castle right now. With that, he arrived to meet Jack, another powerful summon. And he gets too casual with Light. But Light never minds because he saw Jack as an older brother. In this 3 years, Jack has trained Light in close quarters and turned him into a pure monster. By the way, Nizuna was really doing her job and met the 4 maids on the way. She was happy to carry out Light's work, and maids started praising her for such honest work. Nizuna is easily manipulated, so the maids asked for a favor. Then she went to a place that was off limits to other maids. And she found Mei in that place. Mei was cleaning up Light's room, but Nizuna went inside and saw the bed sheet was a mess. And by the looks of it, she was sniffing it. But Nizuna is too pure, or rather too naive to understand this sort of things. That's why Mei came up with some stupid reason, and she believed her words. But then she remembers the message those 4 maids sent. It says, stop monopolizing Master Light's room, because they also want equal rights, you tyrant Mei. But the last part was hard for Nizuna to understand. But Mei got it fully. It was the curse words, and Mei decided to punish them. But first she gives a few penny to Nizuna to send her away, like a kid. She quickly went to snack stores to buy some dorayaki and milk. But on the way she found Aoyuki. Aoyuki was supposed to be on the surface, but she did already. Aoyuki had the habit of mimicking a cat, so it's hard to converse with her sometimes. But when Nizuna said she could depend on her, she instantly pulled out her report to show she can do anything on her own. With that, Nizuna continues her duties and came to the throne room. There she got all clingy with Light's throne, but in the emotional flow, she accidentally broke the side wing of his throne. So she swiftly ran off after putting it back. Meanwhile, Light went to bath with Jack after a tiring session of fighting, which implies Light is now completely ready to return to the surface to exact his revenge. After that, Mei called in the 4 who sent that complaint through Nizuna, and she was calm, or rather she was trying to stay calm, but the 4 said they just wanted to lighten her workload in their own way. But Mei remembers the last part of their complaint. It wasn't friendly at all, and worse, they sent it through Nizuna. Now they all started to blame each other, but in any case, Mei assigned them to clean the whole hallway till the throne room with hand. Besides, she has to go to the surface soon, so she told them to work in her absence. In the meantime, Nizuna meets with Ellie, and her work was proceeding smoothly, so she had some spare time on hand. Ellie always picks on Nizuna, so she tries to prove how smart she is. But Nizuna knew she knows nothing about surrounding, and that caused a scene. And then Ellie said how she wants to invite Light to her room for dinner. Nizuna is too pure that she doesn't understand at all. She literally thought Ellie meant dinner only. So after that, Nizuna tried to show she also has an upper hand. Ellie is a mage, so she's not good in close combat, and asked to rely on her. Even Ellie can't be mad on such a pure lady, and that's how she goes away to resume her patrol duty. But somewhere in the castle, For maids were still frustrated how May was hogging Light all for herself. They wanted to get fair treatment, but May is way stronger than them. They also want to go to Light's room and go through all of his belongings and bed as well, but one of them was weird with her taste because she wanted to use the same utensils as Light. The other three found it creepy, but they also want to do the same. But their biggest obstacles is May. After all, she's the summon Light pulled, so they can't do much. But it reminds them that the second gacha pull took 3 months, which means May was all alone with Light in this dungeon. Their fantasy ran wild, and May heard all of their nonsense from outside, even the part where they were praying for her death. So one by one, everyone took a U-turn and said they're always loyal to her to sugarcoat her. But still, May said that 3 months when they were alone, Light was always working hard, so they didn't do anything they were thinking about. But besides that, May added another punishment to this to clean throne room as well. So when they were in the throne room cleaning it up, the part Nazuna fell down, and they thought it was their mistake. But the real culprit was relaxing at night in her room. But the next day, it was time for them to head back on the surface. And watching Light being chummy with Aoki also try to hit on him. But a hellhound appears there, and the trauma from 3 years ago still shakes up Light. Watching that, girls got so ticked that they decided to wipe out the entire hellhound breed, but Light calms him down since he's okay. And furthermore, it's time to put their plan into motion, and that's how the hunt for revenge starts. The first on the revenge list comes Garu, who tormented him for fun. He is still a lowlife when he saw a human scavenger looking for food. For no reason he kicked him and looked down on him. Quick success had made him ride on a high horse, and he formed a gang of low-born just like him. And now he aims to become the leader of the entire wolf pack. But his lackeys asked about the job that made him rise on the ladder. But the higher federation had ordered him to keep it a secret, so Garu had to refuse. It was about killing Light that day, who was a suspect of being a maestro. But the Federation was keeping the fact hidden what this maestro is and why every country is searching for him. There May came in asking for Garu's help. From here on out, the plan of hunting them down has started. May came pretending to be searching for Light. She makes up that Light was a noble, and now his family is searching for him. So she went around everywhere looking for Light, and Garu thought it might be possible since Federation always keeps critical info from sharing. Anyway, May smartly said she was roaming around the world to search for Light, and just found out he vanished in the abyss. So she wanted to go to that place herself to check things out, and asked Garu to escort her there. Garu saw no problem in it, because humans are always weaker. So he agreed to make some quick cash, and assembled a few of his men to escort there. Garu was planning to assault May and enjoy when time comes. With this plan, they arrived on the place where Light was caught up in that trap. May felt bad that she wasn't summoned before all this tragedy happened with Light, being shot through his leg and tormented with an inch of his life. Garu got on alert since only those from Concord tribes and higher up knew what they did to Light back then. Simply by May's presence, Garu was shivering in fear. He couldn't comprehend why those eyes were sending shivers down his spine. But then Light came out to tone her down. Garu couldn't believe on his eyes. There was Light in front of him, and he's still alive. Those underling believed it's only one human brat, so they can simply take care of him. And Garu came back to his senses, since humans naturally only reach level 100, while other races gets past that, so no way an inferior human could harm him. That's why Garu got so sure about his victory. But Light told him to at least ask how he survived 3 years ago, but Garu was riding on a high horse and was sure that it's just Light's luck, or that May must have saved him. So his minions tried to attack, but May got rid of them in a blink of an eye. She asked Light to let her take care of those bugs. But Light came forward first because Garu still couldn't believe he's weaker than them. It was a widespread discrimination among all races because humans couldn't level up as much as others do. So Light asked how did his minions died from inferior races then. They all thought Light must have used a relics, so Garu showed a glimpse of his power. Garu got desperate and pulled out an orb to summon an ice Fenrir of level 500. Garu was showing how powerful he had become in these 3 years. But Light felt sorry for him and told him to go ahead and order his dog to attack him. He won't move an inch, and if so, the ice wolf blasted a powerful laser, And Light took that hit as he promised, and showed it's nothing but a breeze to him. Garu and his minions were stunned, and Light saw how exaggeration it was to call that ice dog a Fenrir. So Light used the real Fenrir of level 9000 to show how the real deal looks like. Just a simple breath of that Fenrir gets rid of that duplicate one, and now Garu and his minions know how screwed up they are. Then Light showed his own level that is maxed out. This made them believe Light is an imposter because humans are always maxed out at level 100. Plus he looks exactly like he was 3 years ago. So Light revealed he's using an anti-aging bracelet to make him remember the day 3 years ago when he was betrayed. Now it was clear to Garu that there is no chance of survival from all this. So he got on his knees and said he was ordered to do all that by those higher-ups, and even puts the blame on his minions that they came here to make quick cash. Garu was trying his best to get out of this alive. So Light asked him about this maestro, and all Garu knew is that they were tasked to find one. So Light asked why kill him then. Garu said he was just following the orders, so he asked others. And just as they tried to trick Light, May got rid of them. She has the eye to detect truth. And Light asked Garu if he can win against the surface world. Garu said from looking at Light's level, he is strong, but there's a limit to what a single person could do. There are many countries who have always focused on stockpiling weapons, armor, and items. So even Light would have a hard time. Light understands Garu made a point, so he used a teleportation card to take him to his kingdom, where each and every one of his summon is loyal to him. And now Light told everyone to show their stats to Garu. They were all just too overpowered, and assuming if he got this powerful army. Garu got no words to say, yet Light got his answer. He could easily win. But it's even beyond that. He could actually destroy the world if he wants, like the god of destruction. But Light didn't want to be a god of destruction. He thinks he's an entity who can grant luck and misfortune to anyone, and with that power, he got ready to wage a war on the surface.